I'm hearing you say is, what is the significance if I'm doing the work, right? And I'm attending to my own shit in order for the relationship to work, how much does it matter if the other person is doing their work? In an ideal, perfect situation, you have two people who are willing to work on their stuff. That's what they're equally committed to. Being engaged with people that are willing to work on themselves is always a bonus. And part of what you're asking, though, how is it important for you or for them so that the relationship can work? You do the work because you do the work for you. It's not even about them, right? So whether you're with them, you move on to 5 other people after them, it's with your kid, whatever, you're doing the work around intimacy because it works for you. And you want to continue to elevate not only in your consciousness, but in your spiritual evolution and your emotional intellect. So you're doing this work. And what naturally happens as you do the work, the dynamic will shift and change. But this is the thing, what you're going to notice is that as you do the work, there's really one of 2 things that will happen. The one option is as you do the work, right? Your partner will oftentimes be inspired, or there will be an openness for them to show up differently in the relationship. You being less reactive to a certain set of dynamics will allow the dynamic to shift for them as well. So in essence, the dynamic will naturally shift just by you choosing to respond differently and for you to do the work in that experience. All right. And the partner may not only be inspired, but may be motivated and moved to do more of the work and elevate with you in this place. Or what will happen is as you continue to remain committed to the work for yourself, the universe will step in as it always does, and it will help you access more and more clarity around whether or not this relationship is the relationship you should be in. So in the sense that as you continue to tend to your own alignment, as you continue to do your work around your triggers and around your personal wounds, et cetera, it won't be the question of in this dynamic, should I stay in this relationship? Should I not? What should I do? Being in that constant sort of habitual state of, is this the right person to be with? As you maintain that connection to yourself, that clarity, that effort around, I'm going to commit to this work in the deepest way possible as a personal effort, what will naturally happen is you will either become more attracted to this person or you will become less attracted to this person. And you will either continue to match up or match up in deeper ways, or you will start to unmatch. And when I say unmatch, that's the clarity. You will see this person in a different light, and it won't feel like such a dramatic, should I stay or should I go? It'll be like the same way we don't wear the same clothes as we did 20 years ago, or we don't listen to the same type of music. We just sort of move on from it. It'll feel like a moving on of energy, right? And it won't be so attractive or alluring or appealing. Additionally, if not a most part of your relationship with your partner right now is based on that blueprinting that each of you are playing out. So you have drawn each other in. He triggers your blueprint, you trigger his, and you guys are reenacting this. And your intimacy is large in part due to this reenactment. As you start to heal those parts of self, you don't require that reenactment as much. So that is a really, really big place when you know that you're growing. When all of a sudden, you know how we all talk about having a type or like getting really triggered really easy, or we get drawn into something. When you notice that your type or the things that you typically feel deeply motivated to engage in or prove your point, it's no longer attracted to you, or you're just like, that's not really my thing. I'm making a very general, dramatic statement, but the bad boys kind of vibe, that was very much my thing, because bad boys equaled emotional unavailability. It equaled a reenactment of being 1 foot in and 1 foot out, which is all my blueprint shit. There was a point in my life where that was no longer energetically alluring to me. Logically, I knew that wasn't a great idea, but emotionally, I was always so drawn to that type of person. Now, that's so repulsive to me. If you have that type of inconsistent energy, first of all, I don't usually come in contact with those type of people, but the moment I feel it, it's not for me. And that's how I know that I've done a lot of big work around this, because I've healed those parts of myself. So I'm not looking for that reenactment. We choose partners to play out our blueprint with. and when we heal parts of ourselves, we don't need to play that out anymore. Keep doing the personal work. Keep tending to those parts of self. Keep looking at your own blueprint and where you're attempting to get unmet needs, and take the focus off of, is he doing his? Is he doing his thing? Is he participating? Because for you, that's not your responsibility and it's not your job. He gets to show up and keeps being him. If you want to inspire him, that's the bonus kind of organic outcome. But if he's not inspired by your work, that's okay. His job is to keep showing up and being him, and then you get to make the decision whether or not that's something you want to participate in. But the truth of the matter is, where we get disjointed is that we do the work, and when we have a lot of hopes and expectations for the other person, and then when they don't show up the way that we want them to, but even though they're saying, this is who I am, I'm not that emotionally unavailable, I'm not that committed in this way, I don't have that kind of insight, we get mad. We get mad that they're not meeting our expectation. We get mad that they're not fulfilling our hopes and dreams around what we want around intimacy. And then we blame them why we don't get to feel good or why this isn't working, when really they're showing you all along, this is who the fuck I am. I keep showing you. I keep showing you I can't be honest. I keep showing you that I can't follow through. I keep telling you and showing you that I can't co-parent with you or whatever. And I'm just using arbitrary concepts. And then we get mad. So let him be him, whatever that is. And you keep shifting the focus back to you. Keep pivoting the focus back to you.
How important is it for the other person in the relationship to have insight in order for things to heal? It's only as important as you make it. So what's your belief? Do you believe people need to have insights to heal their core wounds and suffering? I want you to take a look at a disease, cancer, sickness. When something goes wrong in the body, there are numerous ways to create healing. Some of it's quantum healing, right? You like spontaneously heal through thoughts or through nothing. Sometimes it's rounds of chemotherapy. Sometimes it's all kinds of Western medicine. Sometimes it's antibiotics, right? There's so many different ways to get to the end outcome. So if your deep belief is actually people do need to have insight in order for things to heal, then that's what's going to show up in your world. I don't believe anyone needs insight into their core wounds and their suffering to heal. I think healing is available to all, and we don't have to rehash the past. We don't have to have deep insights, right? There's so many choices we can make, and often being supported in someone else, by someone else, right, can be so much of what is helpful for that. So when you ask, is it more that in relationships, that the relationship shifts because of my shift and then they can heal without the insight? Or is it more that they change their responses versus heal? So if we take out like heal as if it's the end point and look at it more as like people living in their highest self, or like people being in wellness or thriving or healthy relationships, let's look at it like that. Because when we look at something like I need to heal X, right, then there's certain things that encompasses that versus like, what would it look like for that person to be healthy, for your relationship with that person to be thriving, for it to feel really good and juicy. So as you do your work to wellness or your healing work, or you're having these deep insights, that profoundly changes who and how you are in the world. And now suddenly you're showing up with different expectations of those around you. You're showing up with more loving availability. You're showing up having met all your needs, so you're not needing anyone else to fill you up. And now that relationship shifts on its own because you're not the same person at all. Right? It's this one of the same reasons you break up and then your person goes with someone else and you're talking with that person and they're like, I've never experienced that, right? Because it's a whole different dynamic. There's not the past, there's not the thing. So when we can come at it new, when we have our journey, whatever it is, and we don't need anyone else to be different or to change or to have insight or to heal or to like know they're suffering, right? If we let them off the hook for all of that, and like Star said, just focus on ourselves. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing this for my highest good. I'm doing this because it's so important for me to live my full self out in the world. That allows for things we can't even know to shift and change. And that's the power ultimately of this work in relationships. I don't believe that anyone needs to shift or change or have insight or do their core wounds or do anything to heal, to thrive, to have wellness, to like completely even do a 180, right, out of the blue. And sometimes the power of our own healing journeys, of our learning to thrive, of our being fully alive in ourselves creates a vortex for others to like swoop in and join us there, because it feels so good.